What's going on, YouTube? It's James ChiHammer Fantasy Battle Reports, and today's not a battle report. Today is I'm going to give you the army book for the Orcs and Goblins army. Now, I figured I'd give you a different perspective, because you guys always see, like, this perspective, where you see all my bits and shit and my computer screen. Yeah, see, there it is. Now, I'm not all fancy like everybody else, where they have, like, they could show you a slideshow on the thing. I'm not going to do that. I don't even know how the fuck to do that. So, I'm going to go ahead and talk to you guys. I got so much time to talk about what changes did they make in the Orc and Goblin book. Now, first off, ooh, somebody's gonna complain about shaky cam. I'm gonna go ahead and put this down for a second. There we go. Sucker. All right. So first off, let's see. They didn't change anything. They still have the common orcs, iron orcs, feral orcs, common goblins, cave goblins, forest goblins. They did change the unruly, where the unruly says specifically models with the unruly still suffer the -1 leadership when doing pursuit and frenzy tests. In addition, a unit in horde formation with more than half of unruly models take panic test. So you can't have a horde formation with models that are not unruly. I'm not entirely sure what that means. It means like if you have less than half of your starting size, maybe. I don't really understand. Truthfully, you could read it later. That's not that big of a deal, okay? That's not a big change. All right. Venomous Fangs for the Gargantula, Spider, and the Wyvern. They get one non-special close combat attack. It doesn't do technically ordnance anymore. It does D3 plus 1 wounds. So you can't do an extra wound to the flying monsters. So that was a change. Very little change. They did put in, which I think is really cool, they did put in Ricochet, and they have a diagram of how it works in two situations. So I think that's awesome. That's a great thing that they put that in there. Power Shroom. Now, Power Shroom actually got one of the interesting changes here. One use only. The bearer may use a single Power Shroom when casting a non-bound spell. Declare usage before rolling any magic dice. Any dispel attempt this phase against this spell will have its dispel roll reduced by D3. If a natural 1 is rolled, the wizard using the Power Shroom suffers a toxic attack. Now, basically what that means is it helps when you take the shroom. It makes not that it makes your spell stronger, but it makes them having a harder time to dispel you, which is interesting. The other very, very, very interesting thing about Power Shroom is if you take a cave Goblin Shaman, it is required and put in the points already, you take Power Shrooms, which I find very flavorful. I find it very useful, or not useful, but it gives you a reason to take the different Goblin Shamans, okay? And my brother just sent me a message. I'm like looking at that. All right. Next up is the Mammoth Stabber. The Mammoth Stabber is same thing, D3 plus 1 wounds against large targets, but now large targets are now called Towering Presence, which, again, awesome. Towering Presence, that's a good change. Whatever, it's little things. Now, here's the biggest difference, and this is the first thing I noticed when I first came on here. Magical items. The Axe of the Apocalypse is 130 points, which means, if you guys don't know already, that basically everything in point cost has been doubled. Okay, let that sink in. Everything in point cost has doubled, which I was talking to, I believe, was it Tremendous? It was either Tremendous or Woghammer, and we were talking about it, and I was like, all that means is it's inflation. If you're going to double up the points, everything else gets doubled. The game cost gets doubled. Everything got doubled, okay? Or some got a little bit more than double or a little less than double, but roughly around double. All right, so nothing changed to the axe itself. Nothing changed to the Zappin' Bow, the Backstabbing Dirks. They just changed the wording on a couple things. All the magic items in the Orc and Goblin book is still the same. Yes, everything is still the same. Okay. Army organization. I'm going to move the camera for this one. I can't even tell if you guys are looking at it. I hope you're looking at it. I hope I don't have anything embarrassing on my computer screen either. All right. So, basically, if you just saw what I saw, characters. Get 35% max characters. That's all right, whatever. You know, it might change a little bit on how I play because I was doing making sure I was under the 35% lords and 50% heroes. So, especially when I'm playing Koopa and Zod, there are a lot of points already. It might change, maybe taking one wizard versus two, stuff like that. We'll see how that works. We'll see how the points all play out. Core, 25% core, it hasn't changed. But the one thing that I do have a gripe against with that specifically is not everybody has that limitation. Some army books have 15% core, whereas others have, I believe, maybe a little bit more in core. But for the most part, I've heard most of them got less core than we did. So that's kind of like, eh. Now, if you're going to go that route, it's cool. But I'll explain a little bit more later on why I have a problem with that. Elite, you can have as many elite as you want. No limit. That's awesome. All right. Shooty biggins, or shooty uns, that's what they called it, excuse me. Shooty uns. I guess they're supposed to be guns. But basically, they get 15%. But the cool thing about that is it doesn't include short bows, crossbows, stuff like that. It only includes catapults, doom divers, and skewers. So, okay, 15%. It's not much of a change from what it used to be. Whatever. Big and nasty, it's 25%. Now, here's another one I have a big issue with. 25% only allows you to bring 2 spiders, or a spider and a giant, or a spider and a wyvern, or I think like maybe 3 giants, but it doesn't allow you to get a big monster mash list that you were able to bring before, which kind of hurts. It really does, because with the point cost, point reduction, and then everything else is going up in price, it creates this. You can't bring a monster mash list with Orc and Goblin. I believe there's a lot of things that those polls. I mean, yeah, there were polls granted on how a larger level of players want to think the game is supposed to be played, but at the same time, with limiting certain things like that, you're not allowed to have options to go off and do other things, other options. You know, and that's the way I play. The way I play is you give me how the rules are, and not that I find ways to break it. I don't break the game. I don't. Okay, but I find ways to play with those options that I'm given and play something different and something fun. You know? So, again, it's giving me options. I mean, it's giving me limits to my options, which, whatever. I don't think anybody's really going to agree with any of them from any of the books, but we'll see. So, we're going to go into characters. Orc Warlord. Now, you can buy it as obviously a Lord character or a Chief character. They're in one category, okay? The big difference here is the Chief characters get 3 wounds. So, you could take a hero level Orc, and he already has 3 wounds. He just has 1 less leadership, 1 less weapon skill, and 1 less strength. So it's a dramatic difference between playing with the Lord. I mean, if you don't need the leadership, if you just want a character out there or if you just want a cheap hero as your general, because for whatever reason, you're going to get less in magic items, but it's a lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper. All right, your Orc General. This is a big one. I think most people might overlook it. I overlooked it. But your Orc General must take the Warg. Change the word on that. I hate the R in there. Anyways, they must take the Warg. Magic items are 200 points. The Chief is 100 points. Just to give you guys an idea, an Iron Orc Warlord base is 300 points. Okay? The cool thing is, though, is they put in a lot of the little upgrades that you could buy automatically. And that's the biggest change in point structuring in here, is a lot of things seem like they're higher in points, but they're really not, because they're automatically including the upgrades. So an Iron Orc Warlord already has a plate mail. Common Orc already has heavy armor. Feral Orc is basically butt-ass naked. Alright, so you still have the choices of chariots, boars, and wyverns. That seems to be roughly the same, maybe a little bit cheaper in cost, actually, I think. I think it actually might be cheaper in cost, at least for the Iron Orc Warlord. Obviously, you could buy a BSB, whatever, right? So that's all roughly the same. Stat lines haven't changed. I'm looking at it right now, they're all the same except for the extra wound on the heroes. Alright? Orc Shaman, 180 points. There's no limit on how many models you can bring. You can bring as many shamans as you want. That's simple. Okay? I mean, you're obviously going to be limited to how many magic spells you get and how much magic dice you get. So, like I explained in my magic video, you got shamanism, thaumaturgy, pyromancy as an orc shaman. Okay, you could purchase additional spells for 50 points a spell. You could have 4 spells as an orc shaman and still not be a wizard master. Wizard master is its own category to upgrade. So you could actually be a level 1 shaman with wizard master. Very interesting. It is 70 points for that. I mean, it's kind of you're paying for an extra in your spell and this spell, but hey, if you pay for being a master, you get 200 points in magical items, or if you just stay as an apprentice, you get 100 points in magical items. It's interesting. The one thing, you do get 3 wounds no matter what. No matter which shaman you pick, you get 3 wounds no matter what. The one thing that's a kick in the balls that Joe Getzy brought up to me, leadership 7. That's it. So, as Joe griped to me earlier, the biggest issue is you're not able to play. I mean, you're going to have a very shitty leadership bubble for a level 4 shaman as your wizard. Okay? So that does suck. And I'm allowed to bring. This is my review. I'm sorry if the rules team doesn't agree with me 100% or vice versa. And I think they're expecting people to have blowback on all these changes that they've done anyways. For the most part, I'm actually happy and optimistic for a lot of these things, and it's a different type of game. And I'm excited to try something new a little bit. But at the same time, that's a hit. That, again, doesn't allow you to play a certain style of playing your army. You're not allowed to bring a level 4. Or you could bring a level 4, but you're a fucking leadership 7. And truthfully, just so you guys know, in the BRB, there's no more, the banner discipline doesn't give you +1 more leadership. There's another item that gives you +1 more leadership for wizards specifically, but then you're spending magical items on that just to get the fucking leadership up when we had a leadership 8 before. That's kind of, whatever. Orc mounts. That's all the same. If you do take a wyvern as your mount for any of the upgrades on, you could take it on the orc shamans too. That's kind of cool. I think you could have done that before anyways. But if you take a wyvern as a mount, it counts as your monster points as well as your character points. So you count it as both categories. Alright, Goblin King. This is where you would find King Koopa or Chicken Head or whatever. Leadership 8, that's the same. Everything's the same. That's interesting. The Goblin Heroes still get 2 wounds only. That's stupid. I thought they would get 3 wounds. That might be a typo. They might have overlooked that. Maybe not. Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. Maybe because they're just a little too cheap to have too many cheap characters running around. Who knows? But yeah, they're only two wounds. As the orcs were 3 wounds. Everything else is roughly the same stat-wise. If they are your general, they must take the green tide, but it is free. That's different than the orc general. Whatever. Common goblins automatically get heavy armor. The chiefs get automatically light armor. Cave goblins automatically get light armor. Forest goblins automatically get light armor. Forest goblins automatically get poison. The point cost difference between forest goblins and cave and common are 10-point difference. So you automatically get poison, but you automatically get 10 points on top of your cost. Goblin Shaman. Again, no limits. You could take as many Goblin Shamans as you want, I believe. You get... Alright, here's a big difference. 140 points for Common Goblin, 140 points for Forest Goblin. Starts off as a level 1 or 1 learned spell. And you could do the same upgrades as the Orc Shamans, right? But the Cave Goblin is 180 points. You automatically get Power Shrooms, but you're automatically 180 points. You get 2 Power Shrooms. Obviously, Forest Goblins you could get on a Gargantua Spider or a Scuttler Spider, and then Common Goblin you get a Chariot or a Wolf. So yeah, there is no poison on the Forest Goblin Shamans. Alright, same thing applies if you take... if you're mounted on a Gargantula, you must take the Spider Shrine. That's interesting. I overlooked that one before. Another thing, right here on the Wolf Chariot that I just noticed, well, I noticed it before, but it's on the other ones. You get a bow. You don't get short bows anymore. There's no more short bows. Short bows have been taken out. You get bows, which is an upgrade. It's a bonus for goblins. I mean, we get friggin' 24-inch range. Finally! God! 18 inches was just a joke. I didn't barely use those things. All right, core 25%. You need at least this. This is really cool, and I find this very interesting. You get a special rule for things that are considered scoring. All right, so scoring, you don't have to buy a banner. That's awesome. I think that's pretty cool. That's very interesting. Obviously, you can still get a veteran standard upgrade, and then Orcs still 20 models. You can take up to 50 total. Everything's roughly the same on the Orcs. Orc Ed Bashers. Here's my biggest gripe, guys, and I'm just gonna bitch it out right now. Orc Ed Bashers. They're considered scoring, whatever, all that crap, right? The big difference here is you only get a maximum of 30 models. It's gonna be 35. It had to be 30. I mean, you could take fucking 35 fucking Black Orcs. I understand they're trying to take it away from, like, that you shouldn't be an auto include. I get that, but you know what? 30 fucking Orc Ed Bashers were already swinging last. Our number one thing that we polled at saying we would like is bigger hordes. And you limit it lower. It doesn't make sense. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I don't know. Anyways, they took out the Wolf Riders out of core. They're in special now. Or elite, I guess. Orc Boar Riders still consider scoring. They automatically get light armor. You have to buy the upgrades for shields and lances. So that's good. You can try to keep them cheap as a cheap scoring unit, or you can upgrade them to get them to a little bit more. Goblins, they're scoring unit as well. Now, here's the difference. Goblins, regular goblins are costing you about 6 points a model. Again, remember, everything's doubled. 6 points a model. Cave goblins automatically cost 2 points more than regular goblins, but they automatically get nets. That's cool. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, even though it's kind of a blow to my current list, and I'm gonna have to change my list entirely. You get you get nets. Obviously, you could get maggots for 50 points. Forest goblins automatically 3 points more per model. And if you take skirmish, an extra 1 point, and you take a throwing weapon, that's an extra 1 point. So you're getting an additional 5 points for fucking model on a forest goblin. I understand that. Oh, cool, you get skirmish, but they don't even have poison on the throwing weapons. Poison only in close combat, automatically in there. It's not worth it to me. It's not. I mean, yeah, whoop-de-fucking-do. You get some poison when you take them in a horde, but 5 points a model plus they're 11 points per goblin, dude. 11 fucking points. Who the hell wants to pay 11 fucking points per goblin and take them in a horde? I mean, that's like 600 points in fucking goblins for 50 or whatever it is. It's horrible. That's horrible. Okay, skirmish is cool. I really like the skirmish. I really wanted to play with the skirmish again. But it's... the goblins, for 50 goblins, cost more than taking orcs. Let's see how much the orcs were. The orcs were... No, they're 12 points a model. Why wouldn't you fucking take orcs over taking fucking goblins? And fucking leadership is a big difference. Ooh, whoop-de-doo, you get poison. Not worth it. Oh my god. Shady gets is the same, I believe. Shady gets there's some clarification on when they get their +3 initiative and +3 lightning reflexes, or plus and lightning reflexes. Maggots are the same. Special. Automatically jumps into special. Iron Orcs. Iron Orcs, you get a total of 35 models tops, 26 points a model. Automatically get plate armor, automatically get scoring. Awesome. Still get magic standards. Awesome. That's fucking great. Mounted Ed Bashers. It's another scoring unit. They automatically get heavy armor, or as an orc would say, heavy. Heavy armor, and you still have to pay for upgrades for shields and lances. That's the same. Boar Chariot. I mentioned this to the team, the rules team, because they asked the people who got these if we noticed anything that's kind of off, and this is one thing I noticed. They took out heavy armor as an upgrade, but they didn't really put it in as an auto in the Orc Boar Chariot. I don't know if that was intentional or not intentional, because on the hero level ones, it automatically gets heavy armor on there, and I noticed the difference on the two. So I was like, maybe they're supposed to have heavy armor automatically. That would be cool, because it looks like it went up in price. It's 170 points. Half would have been 85. I guess that's about right? I don't know. Anyways, everything else is automatically in there. Lance, Common Orc, Ed Basher on top. Whatever. All right, Goblin Raiders. This is the Wolf Riders, or the Scuddler Spiders. They get a bow. Oh, by the way, going back to the common goblin stuff, the bows cost 2 more points. And the spears cost 1 point. So if you took a fucking common goblin, or a forest goblin with spears in horde formation, costs more or just as much as an orc. Makes no fucking sense. None. I'm mind blown right now. No fucking sense. I'm sorry. That's just. All right. Anyways, I hope the rules team's watching this. I swear I hope, because then they might see like whatever. I don't know. Maybe that's what they want. Maybe they are just like, yeah, fuck it. Fuck you guys. They don't give a fuck about your forest goblins. Nobody got the model because the Kickstarter never got taken off anyways. All right. Anyways. Sorry, Evil Ash. I know it's a sore subject. All right. Goblin Wolf Chariot. Goblin Wolf Chariot. Everything's the same. They get the bow upgrade. Nasher Dashers. They're 150 points. 24 points a model. They lost skirmish. They just get light troops, so they get free reform, but that's about it. There's no skirmish. That sucks because you're easier to get shot now. I like the fact that they were hard to get shot with like bow shots, you know, and they were just kind of like bouncing at you, and you're like, oh shit, can't fucking shoot them. All right, Nasher Herd. Nasher Herd, same thing. 16 points a model. Nothing changed there. Nasher Wrecking Team. It looked 140 points. Nothing changed there. Grotlings also don't have skirmish. I don't know if they had skirmish before. I think they did. I think I played them once where I played them with skirmish, but they don't have skirmish anymore. They do have insignificant scout and vanguard still. They still have throwing weapons. It never been clarified to me if the throwing weapons they only get 2 apiece, or if they, since there's technically 5 Grotlings on one model, if they're getting 10. I never got that clarification, but whatever. Scrap Wagon, big change on the Scrap Wagon. Scrap Wagon, they have Smasher, Pointed Sticks, Smells Like Green Spirit, all that crap. You automatically have to take it all. There's no specific upgrades that you have to buy. You get all the upgrades put right into the Scrap Wagon, which is kind of cool. I think it's alright. I mean, it's 90 points, whatever. It's a decent freaking little, you know, still random movement, all that crap. Love it. Trolls, the cost of a single troll is 120 points. That's your cost of entry. After that, 68 points a model. That seems a little ridiculously high. I don't know why. I don't think it's double what it was. I think that might be a little bit higher. But roughly everything else is common trolls stay the same price. Cave trolls are 16 points extra, and bridge trolls are 14 points extra. Same rules apply. Nothing's changed there. I think the price on the bridge trolls is a little bit more, which I don't really see why, because they haven't really ever been. They haven't been used as much as they used to be. Yeah, whatever. I would still take the cave trolls myself. I shouldn't say shit like that because they might nerf it because I like stuff. Who knows? Shooty Yuns, max 15%. Got skewers. Skewers. Big change on all war machines. They're not T7 anymore. I mean, there's no spells that are shooting across the table that are fucking hitting them on freaking anything anyways, but like getting shot by certain characters with a skull splitter or bows, they'll be able to hit wound on 5s or 4s. But anyways, Skewer, toughness 4, 5 wounds. Hey, the wounds went up. That's fucking awesome. I'll take that. That's a decent change. You know, it's a little tougher to take it down, but you know, like tougher to take it down wound wise, but toughness 4, whatever. Strength is only 6, and then obviously multiple wounds D3. I don't know why it says strength 3 then like 6. It doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. Armor piercing 6, whatever. We know that. Okay. Catapults. Same thing. Both the Git Launcher and the Splatter are both T4. They both have 5 wounds. You buy a Common Orc, they get 6 wounds. That's a reason to buy a Common Orc for once. I think that might have been before, but it doesn't matter. 6 wounds is pretty it's tough little thing to kill. So Common Orc's only strength 3 though. Whatever. Makes it a leadership 7. Either way, the changes here is there's no templates anymore. So there's no 3-inch or 5-inch template. It's like ovals. So the Splatterer hitting, it automatically hits on a ballistic skill 3. So I'm assuming you're gonna hit. There's no penalties for long range or any modifiers. So you're automatically hitting on a 4, 5, or 6. Okay. 1 you're gonna, I believe, is still a misfire, but 2 and 3 are a miss. Okay. So if you're trying to do a template, this has an area effect of 4. Okay. So you shoot it. You roll this. I understand because it's kind of written funny. But you shoot it, you get, if you hit a 4, 5, or 6, you're going to hit like 4 times however many ranks times 4, so you would hit 16 guys, roughly. Okay? I think like it's like 4 wide, and then for the 4 ranks. I want to say that's what it was. But if you miss on a 2 or 3, you could roll a dice again, and if you get a 4, 5, or 6 on the second one, you're going to hit half. You're getting partial because it drifted. Which, whatever. I think that's how it works. I could be totally fucking wrong. I don't fucking know. The fucking little diagrams didn't make any damn sense. I don't give a damn. Anyways, the strength has been knocked down to strength 7. It's not strength 9 or 10 or whatever it is. And in the whole, it only does D3 wounds plus ordnance. So, it's only D3. I don't know if it's D3 plus 1, D3 plus 2, or is it just D3 plus 1 on a flying creature, then D3 every other time. Okay. Gate launcher, everything's roughly the same. Nothing's really changed. D3 plus 1 hits, strength 5. Doesn't matter if you hit just a little bit or not. You automatically get D3 plus 1 hits. Big and nasty. The Gargantula Spider took probably one of the biggest hits. That sucks. I'm not happy about it. 480 points, so it's more than double the points. Doesn't get an automatic upgrade of its web launcher. You can still buy the web launcher, but you can only bring 1. You can't, even if you bring 2 or 3 spiders, you only get 1 web launcher. It's not like the fucking strength 3 shots were freaking destroying units. They weren't. The DTs are nice, but I mean, if you're gonna pay 80 points for fucking web launcher, just let people pay 80 points for the fucking web launcher. What's the point of having it limited to just 1 web launcher? That's so stupid. Catapult, area effect of 4, same thing. Everything roughly the same on the web launcher effects. I'm not so happy about that. I'm not so happy that there's limit on only you could bring 2 spiders. Period. I mean, you're not even going to be able to bring if you bring 1 Lord Spider. I don't even think you could afford a second one on a regular point game because the percentages don't match up. It's horrible. Great Green Idol. They didn't change it any better. I'm sorry. I'm getting negative now. I'm just kind of. I'm trying to be positive. I really did. I really did. But then, like, the more I read into it, the more I just kind of get. Great Green Idol, 440 points, one of a kind. Innate defense 4 up. It's automatic in there. You can't purchase it. You can still purchase it to be the battle standard bearer for 100 points. Nothing has changed on that. There's no better rules. There's nothing different. There's no difference in the wounds or attacks or nothing. It's still 3 attacks, weapon skill 2, strength 6, or you could crush attack. So you're hitting most shit on 5s. Some of them are on 6s. Hoping you could crush them. Nothing's changed. Giants, 280 points. I thought this was cool. They automatically included the ward save, but I believe that put it in the point cost, and that's that. Guys, that's my review. Oh man, you guys could leave stuff in the comment section. I could let you guys figure that out yourself. I don't have much left on my camera because it's killing up my memory, so I'll have to stop this soon. But, I'm still optimistic, to be honest. I'm still optimistic to play the game, see how it plays out. I don't like a couple of the changes they made. Obviously, I just made that vocal right now. But it's not going to stop me from playing the game. It's still going to, I'm still going to play, and I understand that this is not the final version. If your voice is heard enough, maybe that we will be able to change certain things back, or better, maybe. And I don't agree with going backwards, which I understand, but I do agree with going forward or changing things that need to be changed. And I'm totally a believer of that. I do think that we should give it a chance. Obviously, play it out and see how it goes. 12 points of fucking Forest Goblin, that's ridiculous. Not including like fucking bows and stuff. It's just ridiculous. For when you're paying 12 points for a common orc. Like, think about that. Come on, guys. I mean, that was like 6 points of fucking goblin on the old scale. The spiders costing a little bit too much. I understand they were asking for a point increase, whatever. But then you raise the points of the web launcher and only limit it to 1. I don't buy that at all. I feel like that's too limiting. I mean, that was the difference between taking out a character on it versus a rare section spider anyways, because you're gonna get those web launchers. You weren't getting it on a character. Now you could just take characters and just add additional points. Fuck it, why not? I mean, it doesn't really matter. So that kind of changed some of the flavor there. And then, like how Joe mentioned, the wizard getting lower leadership, that kind of sucked. That does suck, just does. I do like the scoring changes. The scoring unit changes actually makes it pretty interesting because you don't have to purchase banners. There's still a scenario where you get the banners still matter, so you do want banners. You just don't want to. You're just not limited to having to own a banner to have that unit. So it makes some of the goblin units a little bit more bearable. You don't have to purchase that extra 10-point banner. You can just purchase the fucking goblin unit and have them running around. You still lose scoring when you take skirmishing forest goblins, though. Whatever. Alright, guys, hope you enjoy this. Like I said, my memory's running out, so it's dying right now. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe. If you did, hit like and subscribe. If you hit dislike, I'm not gonna take it to heart on this one, because I totally get it. It's not some changes that you like to hear, but changes were made. Game's gonna play different. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how it goes with the magic too. The magic might boost some of the stuff that we lost, And again, one of the things, I have like 30 seconds to say this, one of the things about the Orc Ed Bashers that I thought was interesting, by lowering the numbers, it makes you want to take common orcs or feral orcs on a common level more likely than taking the elite savages. But on that note, they are not elite. Yeah, they're strength 5. Yeah, they hit okay. They're average hitters, but they're not weapon skill 5 or weapon skill 6. They don't have a ridiculous initiative. They don't. So, guys, anyways, it's about to kick me off in 5 seconds. Guys, take care. Leave any comments and feedback down